Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Change Your Mind podcast, where we explore personal development, spirituality, and science. I'm your host, Chris Ashley. I am so excited for my guest today. I have an intuitive reader, a tarot card reader. She has an amazing story to tell, so I'm so excited. First, couple quick announcements. Head over to the links in the show notes. You will find ways to connect with my amazing guest. You'll find ways to connect with me. You'll find links to purchase my book, Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality. Find ways to sponsor the podcast, to find my courses, coachings, free downloads, lots of goodies there. So come check it out. And then, as always, this podcast is part of the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network. We are doing amazing things in the personal development realm, so come join the community. What if the one thing keeping you stuck is the way you think? Welcome to Change Your Mind with Chris Ashley, the podcast where science meets spirituality, and mindset becomes your most powerful tool for transformation. I'm Chris Ashley, author of Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality, trainer, speaker, and lifelong seeker. For years, I battled trauma, depression, anger, chronic illness, low self-worth, and the weight of old stories. Until I discovered how to rewire my mind, reconnect with my divine nature, and consciously create a new reality from the inside out. This show is here to help you do the same. Each week, we explore the intersection of personal development, spirituality, and science, diving into topics like healing, emotional mastery, entrepreneurship, resilience, and the quantum nature of reality. You'll hear powerful stories, gain practical tools, and real conversations that will help you change your perspective, get unshakable confidence, and live the vision your soul has always known is possible. Whether you're navigating a major life shift, building your dream business, or seeking deep healing and alignment, you're in the right place. So if you're ready to break through, take back your power, and create a life on your terms, this is your moment. Let's break free from the patterns that hold us back, awaken to who we truly are, and rise. Your transformation starts now. All right, with me today, I have Cristina Bianca Harsan. So Christina's journey extends beyond translation to holistic healing and spiritual exploration. Embracing energy healing and tarot, Cristina offers profound healing and self-discovery through her intuitive readings. She bridges languages, cultures, and realms of consciousness, guiding clients on transformative journeys. As a modern-day alchemist, she turns challenges into growth opportunities and shares her insights through workshops, classes, and retreats. Outside her professional life, Cristina enjoys nature, yoga, meditation, and spending time with loved ones. She is dedicated to love, compassion, and integrity, helping others find their true path to healing and wholeness. So welcome, Cristina. I love your bio. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy you're here with me. So I start all of my episodes off the same way, and that is by asking my guests what their origin story is. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey and how you became a healer and a tarot card reader.
Yeah, so first of all, it's not a disclaimer, but I consider that everyone is a healer for themselves, basically. Nobody is able to heal anyone. And this is something that I have learned along my way of along my discovery path. So I have harnessed, so to say. I have tried all my life. I have all my life. I have tried to find ways in which I can upgrade myself in ways that provide authenticity within in what I'm doing. So this is how I started, basically by getting lost in order to find myself. I always wanted and I always liked to get lost in order to build myself up again in a different form. So yeah, that has been my journey, basically my self-discovery, which led me to this particular point where I can share, and I'm able to I'm blessed enough to share the knowledge that I have acquired along the years. And yeah, for that, I'm grateful, really grateful for that.
So when you say getting lost, what do you mean by that?
I mean by not identifying yourself with anything and anyone. So when you get lost, you literally you get back to the point of authenticity, where you do not identify yourself with anything and anyone. So as long as we identify ourselves with anything, then we don't allow ourselves to get lost. And by getting lost, I mean shedding all the layers that we have been building and creating that clean slate from which everything basically starts. So it's just like it's a journey of return, as the song says, return to innocence. And that is where everything starts, from that innocence and from that place of allowing yourself to not feel betrayed by anything and anyone. Do you get? So that's the thing, you belong to yourself. I think that Brené Brown put it so beautifully, like, I have the duty to belong to myself before belonging to anyone else or anything else. So that's the point of getting lost, is basically returning to that place where you do not identify yourself with anything. And that is where you can start to become the creator of your own life.
I really love that idea, and I love that you call it getting lost. I've never heard anyone say it like that before. So if people are listening and they're like, wow, that sounds really good, I want to try that. Like, how does someone go about shedding those layers and taking away those identities? Because, when you ask most people who they are, they'll tell you their name, their job title, their religion, their gender, their country of origin. Like, how do we get rid of all those things people have placed upon us?
So first of all, by trying to find out, I think that the first and the foremost is the most important thing is to be able to accept whatever we have, and whatever we have been given. So we have been given, like, from the moment when we are born, it's not only us, it's a whole lineage in front of us, at least 7 generations that we are aware, that has, like, us is just the whole body that we have got is just the impression that we know ourselves through our bodies, because this is the first point of getting to know yourself, to be able to see yourself in the world. But the first thing is to be able to ask questions about yourself that you think that are relevant to you. So for example, if I'm asking myself, who am I? It is not enough if I identify myself with the name that I have been given, so therefore I did not choose it. It is not enough for me to identify myself with the place where I'm born, because boundaries are basically invisible lines that people have drawn. Yeah. And the place that you are born, like, you are born here you came into this existence without the knowledge of being born within a confined boundaries of one particular country. Right. So you see, it's almost as if you look at the earth as a bowl, and as you get further and further away from the earth, you realize that, okay, this is the city becomes smaller, and then the country becomes smaller, and then you get on top of everything and you realize the nothingness that Alan Watts was talking about. You see, when you reach to that point of nothingness, and this is where, like, slowly you shed all the beliefs that you have been that you have acquired, and then and so in order to really be healed, we need to accept whatever we have been given and whatever we have added to our existence. And that's how, like, the acceptance, I think this is the greatest point of like starting point, the acceptance. We need to accept whatever we have, wherever we are. and do not, like, obviously we do not need to identify ourselves with the circumstances that we have, that we have ourselves chosen to experience, because they lead us slowly to the realization that whatever we do, we need to get to our authentic self. And that's why it's important to shed everything in order to become another person, in order to realize where are our limits. And then the more you ask yourself, where are my limits, the more you realize that you're limitless and therefore powerful, beyond imagination and beyond. So it's just a matter of starting from scratch at any particular point in life, because I consider that this is the only way that one can empower himself or herself.
Thank you so much for that explanation. That was really beautiful, and I love the idea of like zooming out of the earth and then just realizing that you're limitless and powerful at the end. And I love that you were talking about the circumstances that we chose before incarnating, and accepting those circumstances. So if someone is listening and they are working towards a goal, right? There's something they're trying to manifest. How does that play into all of this, right? Because we have to accept our circumstances right now, and we're all powerful. So how do we manifest and move forward towards that big dream that we want?
So when it comes to dreams, I think that first and foremost, it's important to realize that dreams, if we are dreaming about something, it means that we imagine that we will get to a certain place in the future. But when we see future as not, when we do not see future as a linear point, but as a single dot, and we see past, present, and future through that dot, then we realize that past, present, and future are happening simultaneously. So if I say that I am, let's say, powerful beyond control, I am irrepressible, right? It's just a mere act of uttering these particular words. They already incorporate all the times and all the dimensions that I have already chosen to live simultaneously, but I have chosen a particular frequency that I'm manifesting this thought form. So therefore, in this respect, there is no past, present, or future. There is just me choosing a particular frequency of all my, as you said, incarnation. So the idea of incarnation is sometimes misinterpreted in the sense that I have been this in my past life. There is no past lives. All lives happen simultaneously, but we choose a particular frequency of a different version of ourselves at a particular frequency. Therefore, we resonate with it. So you can just realize the immense possibilities of us shifting from one frequency to another frequency, just as like watching TV, for example, and we know that there are one multitude of channels, but you tap into one at a time. And this is our lives. So that life is my channel. My channel is that one. But I have the capacity to change it by being bold and by acting upon my thoughts. So in this respect, the dreams that you're talking about, they already come into existence into this particular reality. And I choose to change it, but I'm the only one that is able to do that. Nobody else can tell me that, okay, or yes, people can come and into your life and say, can you please change the channel? And so this is extrinsic. So whatever you're doing because of whatever you have chosen to act upon other people's desires. And it will not be the channel that you know what I mean? So you're leading a life that does not come from your authentic self. It's just, okay, I'm going to do that because X, Y, and Z. So when we have a reason to do something that does not belong to us, then it's like the difference between, must and have to. When we were in high school, we were taught that, okay, must, like, I must go to school. Like, when that must comes from me. This is my desire, this is my intention that I want to go there. But when you say I have to go to school, that is other desires upon me. Therefore, it has a different meaning, must and have to, in this respect. Like I made that comparison because this is the only one that comes to my mind now. So
yeah, totally. I'm like absolutely following you, and I agree with you on all fronts. And I love the way it's. One of the things I love about having a podcast is I get to have these amazing conversations, and these are ideas that I've believed in for a long time. But like, I love the way that you put them, and the way that you say them is so mind expanding. And I know listeners are going to love this. So I want to keep following. I want to keep going down the same road. So this idea that all timelines are happening simultaneously, and quantum physics backs this up, right? That it says like any possible reality you can imagine and everything you can't imagine all exists. You just have to choose that reality. So, and it's kind of like timeline jumping, right? Quantum jumping. So how do we choose? And I want to go back to like this dream, this goal, and let's say it's your dream, your goal, not something imposed on you. How do we choose our different frequency? How do we change our frequency so that we can bring that into existence in our reality?
So yes, so it's a beautiful question because there are it's a plethora or a multitude of answers possible. But the first thing that comes into my mind is the DNA rewriting. And DNA rewriting has it's linked to numerology as well, and to Tesla, of course, 369. But when it comes to this particular DNA rewriting, I had some time tackling and this particular subject and delving into it, so to say. So basically, it's interesting how the programming of our genes can impact our lives. So when you you were given the power to obey, to follow, but you were also given the power to realize that you are powerful beyond measure. And by tapping into this particular DNA rewriting, there is a beautiful theory which I have applied, and it resonated with me a lot, and that's what I want to share it with you. So, you know that Tesla had a specific thing for numbers. So he had a specific thing for 3, 6, and 9. And in numerology, 3, 6, and 9, they carry different frequencies. For example, 9, if you multiply whatever number with 9, and you for example, 9 multiplied by 9 is 81, and 8 plus 1 is 9. So whatever you multiply 9 with will end up in 9. So he realized that there were some formulas that he used for these particular 3, 6, and 9. And the researchers, they came with this idea that, okay, you can choose to rewrite basically your DNA by... So the DNA rewriting process starts at the 9th day of you affirming, like affirmations, like everyone has mantras or affirmations. You repeating the same things over and over again, the things that you find relevant for you, not the things that you wish you were, but the things that you know you are deep down, and utter them loudly at least 3 times a day. So 3 times a day, you take 6 of the traits that are most characteristic to yourself and that you think that you are able to manifest in this particular life, and there are no boundaries into what you want to say about the 6 traits. So I am. People say that I am carries a low no. I am, it extends beyond those layers that we were talking before. So I am, and you find 6 traits that you know that you have deep down. You can also use I have if you want. So you take these 6 traits, you repeat these 6 traits like I am or I have 3 times a day for 9 days. So you see, we have 3, 6, and 9. So we already have the formula. And then, so this on the 9th day, the DNA rewriting process starts, and then you repeat this until you get to the 27th day, which is 9 multiplied by 3. 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. So 2 plus 7 is 9. So there you have the complete process of your DNA rewriting. So on to the 27th day, your DNA will be completely rewritten. What does that mean? That means that you have already brought those frequencies into your life, and now you're able to shift to wherever you want to shift with those particular I am. It's interesting how a few words can change your life, by using certain formulas that have already been deeply explored and tackled by researchers such as Tesla. So yeah.
I'd never heard that formula, so thank you. I'm totally going to try it myself. I love that. So is it characteristics then that you're saying, like I am courageous, or I am powerful, or is that kind of what it is? Or is it, yes, I am this job description or whatever?
So whatever it is not that what I want to be. It's what you know that you deep down you are, but you cannot fully express it. So for example, I am powerful. Like when you say that, it's just like, okay, and I know that I'm afraid. Fear is normal within, like fear is something that it's so normal to us, because without fear, we wouldn't have been able to survive, or we wouldn't be able to feel pain. Like for example, if I touch the fire, I know I will feel pain. So next time I'm gonna fear the fire, but not in the sense that I'm gonna use it against me. It's just that I know that if I touch it, I'm gonna get burned, and that is normal. Of course, the fear has been extrapolated to different sorts of oppression. So, of course, and there is also a link between any type of feeling that we have with the organ. So when the organ gets affected, we know that this is the type of emotion that we need to deal with. So if my kidneys are affected over and over again, it's not that I have a UTI or a urinary tract infection. It's because I have so much fear within me that the only way that it can be, let me know that I am sick or I have a disease is by the organs being impaired. So and this comes from the Chinese philosophy, that every single organ has a correspondence to a specific emotion. So if I'm feeling very sad all the time, constantly, so this is constantly, then my lungs are going to be affected. And when organs are affected, this is the last resort that I can accept that, okay, there's something wrong with me. But it's not that, I just I got a cold and I got a flu and whatever. No, it's the body trying to tell us that, look, this is what is wrong with you. Unless you fix it, you're never gonna be able to go beyond, to change your frequency. And it's all about changing your frequency. So I'm continuing to take antibiotics, and I will continue to get disillusioned and deluded into and buying into whatever I am told. So that's why you see it's important for us to liberate from those shackles that we have been born into. And maybe this was our, how can I say? Maybe this is our mission, to discover ourselves again and again and again, and not only taking things for granted. Like, for example, if someone says that, it resonates with, no, you make your own research, It's important for us, for all of us, if something resonates with us, don't just leap on it and say, okay, this is what I've heard and I took it for granted. I'm going to appropriate it as being mine. We need to use our capacity to be able to find if that is really suitable for us, if that information is that piece of information, and to keep searching. And there is a beautiful site that I have found a couple of days ago, because nowadays people would say, but I don't have money to buy the book that for example, I don't know, all sorts of books that have not had a huge for example, books that are not necessarily secret books, but the knowledge that has not been spread across the world. So, for example, I have come across ocean. I mean, this is not any, like, I'm disclaimer, I'm not under any shape or form affiliated to this, but I found it very interesting for people to know that there are certain sites that can provide you with the PDF version of any type of book that you want to find out. So there is so it's, I mean, there are certain books that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars or pounds. And this one, like, it gives you everything. Like, there is no exception. So it's like oceanofpdf.com.
Wow. Do the authors still get money for it, though?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know. I just found it. And, like, I think that it's, and of course, they say there are no, how can I say, there are no advertising or of the sort, but they work on donations. So if you think that, okay, you know, they work on donations, but they do not charge anything. So this is for people who really want to find out knowledge for free. So that all they need to have is internet. Like, they don't need, you know, like, I know that books are expensive nowadays, but this is like, now there is no excuse for you not to be, to know, because, you know, before we didn't have this opportunity. When I was in high school, I didn't even know what internet meant, or like a cell phone. I had like the big brick that, you know, like I had to, like, it was a difficult time back then. 40 years.
So I want to, and you're totally right. Like, even like YouTube is free, right? Like, there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
If you really want to help yourself. So going back to these symptoms being messages from your body, do you find that if someone's like, okay, in my kidneys, I'm having kidney issues, and they trace that back to like, okay, this is because I have a lot of fear. Once they overcome that fear, do the kidneys heal on their own?
No. And it's a beautiful question, because you see, fear can never be dismissed. And the issue is that people do not incorporate fear so that the fear would not take over an emotion. So all our emotions are needed, just as I said, that, okay, I need fear, because if I do not know what fear is, I'm going to touch that fire and I'm going to get burned. And this is the simplest, you know, I reduced it to the simplest explanation possible. But when it comes to your question, it's really, really relevant, because we do not need to get rid of our emotions in order for us to get to use them appropriately in any circumstance. So it's almost like saying, I'm gonna do it in spite of the fear, because I'm not gonna let that fear take over. But I acknowledge it as being part of myself, and it will always be part of myself. And that's the secret, so to say. Now, when you get to this particular conclusion, when you get to this particular, not predicament, but outcome, but when you start to realize this outcome, then you be able to have your body function in a way that these issues will not be relevant anymore. So we go back to acceptance. We go back to the fact that any type of emotion we need to incorporate, even the negative ones, as they say. So, for example, envy. Yeah. Even if you feel envious, but if you transform this envy into something that works for yourself. So, for example, of course, comparison is the number one enemy. I don't need to compare myself to anyone for me to be able to know who I am. Envy again, but like it's easier said than done. But when we compare, like it's inevitable, it's inevitable to compare myself. But the most important thing is not to let that comparison guide me into what I'm doing. So just observe your emotions, but do not let them control you. On another hand, you do not need to control anything. Do you get me? Because when you control things, it means that you have fear that if things are not going to get the way you want, then again, the fear is going to be bigger than me. And we don't need to let emotions be bigger than us. We need to incorporate all sorts of emotions within ourselves and use them so that we would not, so that we would become the greatest version of ourselves, so to say.
Okay, I appreciate everything you said. So I have a question. So,
yeah.
How do we navigate this idea of not trying to control everything, of acceptance for our circumstances, but also want to have this drive towards, living our soul purpose, or, again, going back to that like dream. So how do we navigate that?
So first of all, when it comes to purpose, we need to realize that life in itself is the purpose. The experiences that we accumulate in life, these are all our purposes. And I know that I'm not going to sound like, I know that this is not what people think of purpose or success or whatever. But when you come to think about the fact that there is nothing outside of you that can drive you towards something, even if you are able to enjoy a beautiful morning, this is a purpose in and of itself. So when we start to realize that purpose is a word defined in order to create a vision, a target, a dream, and that all of these components are right here, right now, then there is no purpose, So in a sense, all our experiences create that purpose. And the more purpose we render to a specific dream or to a specific target, and we do not need to attach ourselves to the outcome. So whatever we make out of this life, we do not need to attach ourselves to the outcome. So let's say that I'm working very hard to be able to become a successful, I don't know, doctor or whatever. And I do become that. And then it seems to me as if, okay, so what now? And that's what, I've read a lot about Alan Watts. He's my favorite philosopher. And he explains this very well, that, and now what? And now what? So when you ask yourself, and now what? You realize that whatever has been done for you to reach to that purpose is purposeless. It doesn't have any purpose. Okay, you get very excited. Okay, I have reached here now. But then immediately you ask, so what? And that so what emphasizes the fact that the purpose in itself is the experience, like you will never remember what people gave you. You just remember the experience of whatever they made you feel. So the purpose is directly linked, in this respect, the purpose is directly linked to the feeling, because the feeling can change everything. Like one particular, like if you are excited, like and that's why we always need to remain in awe, like awesome, like in awe, every time, at any single point. And to me, this is the success. To me, this is the purpose, the experience. So it's very, very subliminal, if you will. It's very ethereal. You cannot even perceive it, you see, because for some people, success is something. For someone else, success consists of totally different things. It's just a matter of navigating through all these experiences, and what do these experiences make you feel. So how did I feel when I became a successful, I don't know what, like a position? I felt good, but then what is the intention? What was the intention the same when I wanted to reach to point from A to point B as my intention is now? Or am I going to use this particular career to influence X, Y, and Z for me to be able to gain more money, for me to be so when you come to the maybe to the end of life, I'm not sure, but I have heard that when people get to the end of life, they will all see that this was without any purpose at all. When we see this purpose from this time, or from this timeline. So everything is, when you get to the end of life, you only remember the way people made you feel. You will not remember the success. You will not remember the purposes in and of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I write about it in my own book, and I think it's kind of what you're saying too. Like, we incarnate to have experiences as human beings.
Exactly.
Right. So like, and I totally get that. I mean, I think about your example. It's like, okay, that doctor, maybe giving back was something though that was important for him to experience on this journey, right? Like, of healing, of helping heal other people or whatever. So yes, I totally understand. And Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that too. The like, okay, I made so much money that now I'm like living on the beach under this palm tree, and it's like, okay, now what? Right? Like, I'm here, like, what do I do now? So it's kind of like you're always like chasing if you're not appreciating the present.
And it's always about now what? And it's like the boredom like starts to kick in.
Right.
And then you're like, wait a minute, and then you have you have realizations, and that's where slowly the onion starts to, like, the layers of the onion, you shed the layers and you get to that place of getting lost. You always return to the willingness of getting lost, in order for you to be able to really thrive in a way.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of the beauty in like those moments where you're forced to reinvent yourself too, like, like those like dark nights of the soul or whatever, where you're like, I have to like reinvent everything I thought I knew and I thought I identified as, because those are such a gift, right? Because you get to start over. But what you're saying is even better. It's like you're not being forced into it. You just get to make the choice on your own.
Well, sometimes you're forced because, when you're too comfortable with something, that is when when you start to get too comfortable with something, whatever that something may mean for different people, then that's it. You do not evolve anymore. You're just there. And that's why sometimes life gives us a throwback, or gives us something like wakes us up. Okay, wake up. You're dying. You're dead. We need to revive you,
Right. And I think what you just said is like that you're not evolving anymore is kind of what I've been trying to get to, but with the idea of like moving towards like a goal. It's like that evolution, you're learning in the process. But I also understand what you're saying, that like the purpose is just to have the experience and to like feel the emotions too. And that's sometimes evolution enough. Yeah, it's really fascinating to think about all of it.
It is, and the more you think about it, the more you will start. If you have a spark of curiosity, then this is like it we only need a spark of curiosity. It's all it takes. It's just a spark. It's just a seed that has been sown, and then that's it. Like, we do not need to force anyone into believing anyone. We did not come here to educate anyone. It's just through those experiences and those encounters that we are able to either change someone else's opinion about whatever they have been thinking about their lives, or it does not even matter to you or to me. It does not matter what the other the other people around you feel. Like, you're not responsible for what people think you are saying. You're responsible for what you are saying. Like, I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Like, I take full responsibility for what I'm telling you, but I'm not going to take the responsibility for what you think I'm telling you. So
Yes.
that's
Like,
yeah.
say it louder. I love it.
Yeah,
I think that's so important because we take on people's opinions so much, right? And we take things personally so much, and you just can't do it. Like, you would go crazy. You would if you tried to take on all of that, right?
We just resonate. It's as if in relationships, the reason why we are in relationship, and people say, oh, I was in a toxic relationships for 30 years, or I was in a toxic relationship for I don't know how many years. The thing is that the only way that you will get to know yourself and to resurface whatever was there hidden is through relationships. So if I did not have that relationship, I would not have found this thing about me. So all relationships, be them they're toxic or not, are necessary for us to be able to know who we are. So in a sense that toxic, we keep hearing about these toxic, and we keep hearing about these things, that, and we start to make it like a cult. Okay, toxic, or a trauma, trauma. Everyone is traumatized. We have been traumatized since the moment we were born. Like, imagine a baby going through the canal and like making his way through, and like it's a trauma. Even the mere act of giving birth or being born, it's a trauma. So you see, and this is like identifying yourself with the victim mentality. Now, of course, we can identify ourselves with many, many things until we realize that, okay, now I am this person, I am that person, but who am I? Who am I for real? You will not even realize who you are, because you have been given so many masks and so many faces and so many characteristics, and you have been given that you took them for granted, and you took them as if they were yours. And you do not even know, like, and that is why it's really, really hard to acknowledge or to ascertain, okay, now I need to start shedding. And the people who shed are the ones that are oppressed, repressed, they are like shunned, banned, because nobody wants to, like, it's too painful. Imagine, like, the process is very, very painful. Imagine carrying every layer by yourself. Nobody else will do it by externally. So all those layers, you need to crack them from within, which is a tremendously painful process. Isn't that trauma? You know what I mean? Like, if we want to talk about trauma, we can talk all day long, but it will not make us stronger. If you're telling me that, okay, I am a victim, it will not make you stronger. It will even enhance, or it will even exacerbate. It will bring more traumas into your life. The more you identify yourself that I have been a victim, so you will keep remaining in that. It's as if in those manifestations, those what you were talking about, I'm coming back to those, I am a victim. You wouldn't like to say that 9 days in a row for three times a day. I'm a victim. And because that's not what you are. You see, that is not what you are. And that is why that DNA rewriting is important. for our evolution, and for our shedding those beliefs, and realizing that, okay, now I am the master. I am really the real master of my own life. What do I do with it? Okay, I have to obey rules, whatever. But the rules that I do obey, that like my rules, I'm also at the same time, I'm also obeying my rules, we need an internal system for the rules that we need to follow for ourselves.
I totally agree. And I love that you brought all of this up. And I think people are so quick to blame outside events and other people for their suffering, because it allows them to not be guilty, to not take accountability or responsibility, to be have pity, to be the martyr, to get out of things they don't want to do, but it doesn't allow them to step into their true power, like you said. So I think this message is so relevant, and it's one that comes up on the show a lot from all different angles, and I love the way that you put it. I wanna switch gears for a second, because you're a tarot reader, you do intuitive healings and energy readings, and I would love for you to do a little demo on me, so that way listeners can see you in action, because I'm sure they're going to want to connect with you after.
Yeah, so is there a question that you normally I do channel different entities that I have been working with when I'm doing a tarot reading, but it's like the way I'm doing it is that I want to be invited. So if there is any question that you would like me to, this is how I operate, I need to have a specific, for me to be able to connect. So
Sure.
Yeah, if there is a particular question that you would like me to answer to, I will be more than welcome to do it.
Sure, thank you. And that's really cool that you channel different entities. We're gonna have to talk about that too if we have time. Sure. So there's an opportunity that I'm trying to do with another show that I have, a television show. So I guess my question is it going to get signed to a specific network that I've been talking to?
Okay, so you want to find out whether there will be a deal, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me find out. All right. So I'm gonna take two decks. Okay, I'm gonna use two for this reading. Alrighty. Now, there's a lot of it's so when it comes to this particular action that you have like the entire experience of you trying to get the deal. Now there are, you see, we have this beautiful, I don't know whether you can see it or not.
I can see it,
yeah. So we have the Seven of Swords here, which indicates that there are a lot of hidden things that you must uncover, or that you must pay attention to when it comes to this particular, when it comes to signing a deal. So even if you reach to that point, there will be a lot of hidden things, and this makes you. We have the Two of Swords here. So with the Two of Swords, we make you okay. It's almost as if you're being blindfolded, but not blindfold in the way that, okay, what should I do? Which should I choose? What it is that thing that leaves you with the, you see, we have here the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands indicates that there are a lot of conflict. Now, in this case, for this particular endeavor that you're talking about, there's a lot of conflict, internal conflict with that particular network. So you see, now on the other hand, I see here that you're kind of a perfectionist person. Perfectionist to the point of burnout. Like you have this within yourself. You are really, you are the type of person that tries to make things as perfect as possible. And like, don't get me wrong, perfectionism is not a trait that we need to run from. Perfectionism is just a way of us honing our skills to a specific, like reaching a specific target. And you're very determined, you see, you're very determined in this endeavor, into this endeavor. On the other hand, you're the type of person, you're the founder of something, you see here. We have the founder and with the foundations and community. So with the founder card, it indicates the fact that you are the one who needs to start you are the one who needs to start doing things on you by yourself. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this particular endeavor will not end up in a signing of a contract, but this is less likely to happen because of who you are. You see, because you are not the type of person to rule. To follow the guidelines. You're the type of person to lead in a way that empowers. Or when it comes to this specific question of yours, you will have to through those things that are hidden. You see here, through that information or that data that is hidden, you yourself will realize that, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to lay the foundations of my own thing. You see? So it's important to realize that there are a lot of hidden things, and those things will resurface once you get the chance to. But I'm just saying that this particular, even if you conclude a deal or you strike a deal with the network that you have in mind, it will generate a lot of internal conflicts, and ultimately it will make you realize, okay, I need to start my own by myself. Because of your perfectionism, like because of the fact that you're a perfectionist person, a person that wants everything to sort out the way you want, it will not leave you room for you to take your own decisions. If you strike the deal, you will not, like, your decisions will not matter in the way that you think they will. So it's in a way that in a way your power will be diminished. Personal power.
Interesting. So how do I uncover these hidden things, or will they just resurface at the right time?
No, the hidden things, the thing is that the hidden things only resurface when the deal is closed, when the deal is, this is the way it goes. So those hidden things are only going to be revealed once you are given a deal. Okay. Because, you know, there are a lot of clauses in a contract that the meaning of which you are going to find out, we normally find out only after dealing with the contract. And this is one of those cases. You see, that's why you have to be very, very attentive. And also, you need to take attention to every single detail of those, and question, you see, and question every single clause. And so that you would reach to that clarity that you're talking about, you see. Yeah. And we have the ruthlessness. here, the ruthlessness card, which indicates the fact that, okay, yes, there is no place for feelings, compassion, empathy, whatever.
There's no place for feeling. What do you mean by that? On my behalf?
I mean that whatever you're gonna feel, whatever you're gonna feel, when you talk to the representatives of that particular, like your feelings are not going to be taken into account. That's what I mean. Like are not like out of discussion. So yeah, if you think that you're willing to, but that's the price that we all pay when we strike deals. That's the price that we pay. We all pay a price when we put our signature out there.
I mean, that makes it sound like I shouldn't do it.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It just means that you have the option of knowing what will happen if you will. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, because this is something that if you really want to experience, you will experience anyway. You know what I mean? Like there is no right or wrong path when it comes to our like I have, like in my life, I have done so many things that are considered as wrong, but for me they were right at that time. Do you get my point? So even if it was wrong, I still did it because I knew that I wanted to see what's happened next. And I found what happened. When I really found out what happened next. Next, I was shunned, banned. And then I got out of that hole.
So do you regret doing the quote unquote wrong things?
I never regret anything, even if it is something abominable for others. As long as it makes sense to me, as long as I know why I did it. Of course, in hindsight, you never know why you did what is the reason you do something if you're doing at the same time. You will at the same time you cannot think in hindsight. It's a reflection in action and the reflection on action. Like there was one philosopher that said, not philosopher, sorry, he was an author, academic. I do not remember who he was, but this man, he was like in academics. And he said that there are two reflections, reflection in action and the reflection on action. So when you reflect in action, you're not seeing the whole picture. But when you reflect on whatever happened, then you realize why you did it. So if it is like, if it is my urge to do it, I'm going to do it anyway. The reasoning has no place in what I want to do because it's all about experience. Remember, it's all about that feeling of what does this experience show me. So that's why entities like who do not have a form like us, for them it doesn't matter if you have done something abominable or if you have been a saint all your life, doesn't matter. To them you're just a being with a soul, and that's why of course I'm not saying that we should tap into things that are, how can I say, I'm not saying that we should do bad things, I'm just saying that we should follow the desires of our hearts wherever those desires will lead us, because we will definitely learn whether, okay, do I like it or I don't like it, Of course, on the other hand, there is intuition, and old souls, they know that, like, for example, old souls, they do not, they are very skeptical when it comes to, okay, I'm not going to do it. I know why I'm not going to do it. They don't know from this particular frequency, which is this lifetime, but they know it from other lifetimes, that is other frequencies, that, okay, I'm not going to do it because I know myself. I know that if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to, keep doing it. It's just like a snowball effect. So it's just a matter of like, we need to experience things that we have never experienced before, and the things that we have experienced before, we know why we don't want to continue doing them. We do know why we don't want to experience those things again. It's because those experiences, we have done them, like we have done them so many times, and we know like we didn't come on this frequency to continue them. We want different, like
Yeah.
it's almost as if I want to be absolved by my sins so that I can have new sins,
Right. Well, we've learned that lesson. We've played out that kind of
rolling out
story. Yeah. So I'm still thinking about your reading for me. So it sounds like I'm going to get offered the deal, but then I have to really be mindful looking at the contract, and then maybe I'll find out it's not going to make me happy in the end.
Exactly. In a nutshell, it's also because of the fact that you see that it's also this particular, you need to be very, very attentive to every single details, because sometimes the big things are hidden under small details, like the power, like the important things are hidden so that you would not see them at the first glance.
Yeah, it sounds like a shady contract.
It's all about the power, and for people, usually power means money, but power means there are so many attributes to power, and it's all about having a spine and having the only thing that we need to remember from this particular podcast is one thing. If our thoughts align with our words and with our actions and with our feelings, then we're good to go. Then we are good to go. We are indestructible. We cannot be destroyed. Nobody can be destroyed whose thoughts, words, actions, and feelings are one. So if I'm saying that I am this, I have to mean it. Otherwise, what happens? We get sick. And why do we get sick? Because when I say that I'm gonna give you, I don't know what, let's say, but in my mind, I know that I'm not gonna do it. I immediately create a conflict. The cells of my body, they know that I'm lying. Like you can't bypass that. You can like this, and that is why the body will create this mechanism, like self-defense mechanism, or if you will, and the body will get like, okay, wait a minute. It's not all right. It's not the same. Like we feel that you do not want to do it, but still you say you want. And that is why this discrepancy between our thoughts and our actions create the dis-eases, like this eases in our bodies. And then we ask, oh, I got this particular disease, I got psoriasis, I got psoriasis, I got this particular skin disease, or even when you take into account this abominable disease like cancer, cancer is just a refusal to accept what it is. I refuse to accept whatever happens, and therefore you just like create a greater discrepancy between your thoughts and whatever you're doing or saying, and they need to be one. Like what I'm saying now, whatever I have talked to you now, if I didn't mean it, then I will have all sorts of diseases. I don't want to bring that back. We all do this. Like sometimes we are forced in a way that we allow. We are, when we say I am forced to do that, no, I chose to do it. I'm not forced. Nobody forces. Nobody puts a bullet into. And even then, like you have the willing, you have the capacity to choose. I choose to be forced, not that I was forced. I choose to be forced. Therefore, this is what happens, you see. And as long as I have known myself, I have always had kidney issues, like kidney UTI, all my life, until recently, like 10 years ago. So, and now I know after 30 years, I realized that, okay, these kidney issues It was not just a UTI, because I have so many fears and I didn't know how to process them. And in the end, it's not that they're not real. I didn't know how to incorporate them, to make use of them, not to discard them, but to make use of them.
So we're like a little over time, but really quickly, like how did you make use of them? Like how were you able to incorporate them?
The fears,
Yeah.
by acknowledging them.
Okay.
You know, when you're throwing things under the threshold, and you're like, and when I say acknowledging them, it's like I'm telling you I'm afraid. People are so afraid to be vulnerable. They don't express, and that is why the discrepancy between whatever I'm telling you and whatever, like, of course, when I do the manifestations, and deep down, if I know that I'm not that, I'm not gonna say it. But when I say that I am powerful, I need to know even 1%, I need to know that I am. Unless I do that, I will not be able to correlate this saying. Because when you talk to yourself in the mirror, that nobody listens. Nobody listens. It's just you. But even then, you might be scared of the person that you see in front of the mirror, because sometimes the mirror can be dusty, and you all see you see yourself distorted. So that's the thing, you see.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today. And dropping so much wisdom. I have just loved talking to you. I've learned so much. I appreciate the reading. I'm sure people want to know where they can find you, connect with you. So if you want to just take a moment and let people know.
Of course. I have two sites. It's one of them is the translation site, which is polyglotprecisiontranslations.com, and the other one, where I share all the wisdom related to mysticism, so to say, tarot, and all other sorts of scrying, is reikitarothealing.com. So these are the sites that people can find me, of course, apart from social media, which has the same, like all my social media is Reiki Tarot Healing. But yeah, other than that.
Amazing. I'll put it in the show notes as well. Thank you again so much, Cristina. It was such a pleasure speaking to you. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Please send this to someone who might resonate with it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. Let's help raise the consciousness of humanity. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having me.